Benny here, bigbenchas.com. I'm here with my bud, Nicky Mammoth. He is a strongman competitor. Haven't done powerlifting meet yet, right?
No.
So he's kind of new to powerlifting techniques, I'd say. He's mostly throwing some massive shit around. Strongman style, Atlas stones, all that stuff. So we're going to get him on the bench, and he's got a very respectable bench. What'd you hit in here? We got him. He had a 385 raw bench. He's easily pushing, what, near 500 in a slingshot or a ram. And so he's got a really strong bench, but you can see he's got that strongman style where he just kind of comes down with it, and it's a lot of just upper body strength, real strong upper body. So I'm going to take him through a little bit of how I'd coach someone on the bench, and we're going to see how he feels about powerlifting approach to the technique. All right, so first, I'm just going to run uncut. Let's just see what you got going on the bench. Just pretend like there's 400 pounds on here to give everyone an idea of what it looks like. So this is what he would do, you know, approaching a max effort lift or something.
With no warm-up.
So if we just keep it slow for a sec. So you can see what he's got going on. He's got the false grip. And why do you prefer the false grip? Just interested.
Mobility.
Mobility? Mm-hmm. So what do you mean by that?
My wrists start to bother me when I have my thumbs under.
Okay.
So if they're under, the weight rests too much on my thumbs, because I don't know why, it instantly dumps into my thumbs. No matter how I grip it, it dumps into my thumbs. I don't know why.
Okay, so it might be a little bit of an issue with bar placement and how you're grabbing onto it.
Keep going?
Yeah, keep going. Just
Slow.
I'm just kind of looking at what's going on. So see where he's touching on his chest, very chest, shoulder dominant. He has a big overhead press, so I'm not surprised by that. Where he likes to touch it, he's really going to get involved with his shoulders. And you can even see how he approached with the takeout and other stuff, that he's going to get a lot of shoulder recruitment out of his bench press. He's strong regardless, but in powerlifting we're trying to minimize the shoulders and try to get a little more out of our back. So you can see how he's touching up here. I actually like to see him touch down there. Yeah. But we're going to go through the setup and all that. We're just kind of taking a look at what's going on now. So you can see what's going on here. What you typically see, I guess, from, a strongman. All right, so we're going to take him through the setup first off. All right, so first thing, breaking it down into simple steps. So first, just get a pinch and tuck so you can lay back down. So the first step, and we'll break it all down real slow, just pinch the shoulders together and then pull them underneath, and you're just trying to get in a good shoulder position, get your chest up high. So that's step one. He's just trying to get into a good initial position in which we can go about doing everything else. So from here, now there's a couple of different ways you could do this. If you have a lot of flexibility, you can actually bridge off the floor. I prefer bigger guys too to bridge off the bench if you can. I mean, if you're not too tall, you can actually get your feet on the pad. But from this position here, he's got that tuck, pinch and tuck, step one. Now he can actually bridge himself up like he's doing a big glute bridge. And when I do this, I like to think about trying to reach my belly to the bar, trying to actually touch. So you can see now what's happened is he's peeling his upper back off the pad, and he's trying to get onto the base of his neck. So right back here is where he's going to be in contact with the pad. And we're going to try to maintain that the best we can. You can give it a little push back. And when he pushes back, he doesn't want to just go from point A to point B. He wants something to occur. So as he pushes back, he wants to feel that stretch here. He wants to try to get his shoulders under him even more. He's going to make it very uncomfortable. Shirt's kind of choking you out, right? That's what we want. We want that shirt to ride up, choke him out. That's how we know he kind of folded onto his trap. So from there, can you just do that one more time? Bridge up, push back, right there. Now you're trying to maintain that 1 foot down at a time. This is step three, just getting the feet down. So you kind of want to jam that butt back as close to the shoulders as you can. And while you're bringing a foot down, you're trying to continue to push back, because remember, we want to stay right here on the pad. All right, then can you bring your feet out just a tad more, and always keeping that push back just to set yourself up onto the traps. Toes out just a little bit more, and I tell them toes out because you have more surface area to push against with the side of your foot than you do just through the toes extending. All right. Compared to this, opening up a little bit, have the whole side to push against versus just toes extending out. You don't have as much surface area to grab onto and create traction. Okay, so now you can grab the bar. So that's the setup process. So a little bit different than what you're used to.
A little.
Okay, so you're probably feeling more uncomfortable, I'd imagine. A lot more uncomfortable. Blood flow's probably packing up in his head right now. He's probably struggling. Now drive your knees out really hard until you're shaking in the hips. So now he's starting to get really active with his lower body and then get a good push back. Set yourself tight. All right, now grab onto the bar and bring it out a little bit more. Now which finger do you have on the bar? Middle finger. All right. Can we try the thumbs around just for this? All right, so this would not be what we want to see. We actually do want a little bit of extension back. So this is perfect. A lot of people think they have to be rigid and very straight with the wrists, but we don't necessarily want that. Right? We have to have a little tilt back. Otherwise, that bar is going to be out in front. Like he says, can put a lot of pressure on his thumbs. So that's perfect where he has it right now, and he's just latching around. And try this out, because this will be similar to what you're used to, I guess, more the false grip. So all you got to do is cup the thumb around, and then you can create torque. So it keeps that anchor. Now he can really bend. He can bend, but don't be so rigid with the wrist. There you go. So a little bit different than he's used to. And you can see he's still putting a lot on his thumbs. So that's going to be an area he'd really have to kind of work at for a while because he's not used to that. But yeah, touching a little bit lower. And he's always active with the legs, pushing back. And you can see his elbows are about 45 degrees from his body. So that's perfect. A little bit lower and then throw back over the shoulders. There. So now you see it's really becoming more of a total body movement versus just him and his upper body using a lot of his strength that he already has. And we can see kind of what's going on with the wrists, how he's kind of defaulting back to that pattern he had where he's trying to cup it. There you go. And you want to squeeze it. You think of that Jen Thompson cue, pinky, she says pinky squeeze or crush. I always get it wrong, but one or the other. She really squeezes that bar with her pinkies, because if you're squeezing that bar with your pinkies, you're probably squeezing the bar everywhere. But you want to hammer grip that bar, bend the shit out of it. Just keep going through it. And the whole time he's trying to stay on his traps, and he's trying to keep underneath, shoulders underneath him. And it's just triceps, guys. It's just pop off the chest, just extension. A lot of people want to try to finish too much, and they get into their shoulders. All right, you can rack that up. All right, that was a lot different than when you started. Got the legs incorporated a little bit more. Felt a bit different.
A lot different.
Yeah, so that's how we go about, changing someone, strongman competitor like this, or even a bodybuilder who are really chest and shoulder dominant with this movement and don't really incorporate their lower body. But just a few changes here with the setup. His takeout process, he already pretty much dragged the bar out pretty well. He just needs to get a handoff to help with that process. And then just touching lower. I mean, the wrist is probably going to be the biggest thing for you. Is if you were going to get that thumb around, you really have to play around where that bar sits. So right on top of the meat of the thumb. So you're actually putting the bar on your thumb. You want to nestle it right into that groove right here. Yep, and then you can play around with where you like to have your thumbs. I like to just keep them here because it also gives me that false grip feel without actually going false grip, and I can still torque into the bar. So however you feel comfortable. I find if someone puts their thumb here and death grips it, then they control the movement too much with their arms. And the whole thing is once you get that bar out, you want to control and load into the lats, which is why false grip's awesome, because it really allows you to take that control away from the arms and load up the lats. But obviously we can't create torque that way, so that's the downside.
So this would be a happy medium.
Yeah, that one kind of gives you the best of both worlds, because now I'm not death gripping it and using my arms, but now I have that ability. It almost feels like false grip to really load into my lats.
Okay.
Yeah, so everyone I switched over to that really loved it, and they could feel the difference.
Oh, right away.
Like how it feels like false grip, but it's not. And you can create that torque, because that's really important, real valuable. I mean, that's what we have the torque bar. So you can practice bending.
Yeah.
and you just couldn't do that with a false grip.
Yeah.
All right. Any questions on that? Anything? Your feet were good? Turn toes out?
Yeah, it sucks when it was working.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, simple as that. Strong guy, just make a few tweaks like that, and he's good to go. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. You know where to find us. On a bench.